Yo, what is good, Ninja? OG over here from Player Essence, and welcome to another PE Nintendo Switch and Gaming News video. Hopefully you guys' weekends are going great. I am doing fantastic myself. I want to say thank you to all of the Ninja out there, all of the support. The channel's been doing better, so thank you from the bottom of my heart for making Player Essence and this community that we have success. But with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get right into it. So Capcom is aware of interest in a new Mega Man Legends and Mega Man Battle Network games. And you think, really, Capcom? Really? People have been wanting these for a while, but I'll get into my own little mini rant in just a bit. So, could Capcom eventually return to both of those series? The developer is not ruling it out, at least. Now, Mega Man 11 director Koji Oda told Game Informer that Capcom is aware that fans want to see new Mega Man Legends games and a new Mega Man Battle Network games as well. Here are his exact words. Quote, "I'm one of those people who thinks that actions speak louder than words. I could say all kinds of things, but at the end of the day, I'd like fans to see what we're taking it seriously by starting to resurrect the brand in a way that we are and to continue to prove ourselves moving forward. I love reading survey data. It's a great pastime, and I'm well aware that there is a voice out there that wants something new for games like Mega Man Legends and Mega Man Battle Network." Now, Mega Man Legends in particular has been on a really long break. Mega Man Legends 3 was supposed to happen on Nintendo 3DS, and it never did. There was supposed to be some type of demo that was going to be paid, that it was free, that it was just a mess. Mega Man Legends 3 was a mess, and it was canceled, and there was all sorts of backlash and problems as far as what went on there. But from what they showed us from Mega Man Legends 3, it looked like it was going to be really cool. I don't really see why the project was canceled overall, why they didn't go through with it. I think it would have sold really well. People were looking for games back then on the 3DS, and I think it would have been a great title, but they ended up canceling it. Now, Mega Man Battle Network games, I think that that's just more of a small kind of like vocal minority that want that. I think there's definitely like a lot of people who really want to see Mega Man Legends, but Mega Man Battle Network, I just think that's more of a vocal minority that really wants to see that. But at the same time, there are people who do want to see it as far as that style of game. It'd be interesting to see how it's resurrected. Knowing Capcom, it would come back as a mobile game. You know, like if they were going to bring back Mega Man Battle Network or whatever, it'd come back as a mobile game with microtransactions or something like that. So we'll see what happens. Mega Man Legends 3 could be really cool. I think the Nintendo Switch would be a perfect platform for Mega Man Legends 3. You don't have to have a super high duper budget or anything like that. Just make it modest, and I just bring it back, and I think fans will really appreciate that from Capcom. So what do you guys think about what Capcom had to say here when it comes to Mega Man Legends 3 in addition to Mega Man Battle Network? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. All right, and moving into the next article here, Phantasy Star Online 2 Cloud will launch this spring 2018 in Japan, and of course, you know us lowly Westerners, well, kick rocks. So, the September announced cloud-based Nintendo Switch version is due. So, Phantasy Star Online 2 Cloud. The cloud-based Nintendo Switch version of Phantasy Star Online 2, announced back in September, will launch in Japan in spring 2018, Sega has announced. Now, since all of the game data exists on a cloud server, time-consuming downloads and constant updates will not be required for Phantasy Star Online 2 Cloud. It will run at 30 frames per second, but there may be lag depending on the network conditions. That being said, a stable internet connection is required to play. The Nintendo Switch version cannot play quests with models outside of the PC version, but since all accounts use the same Sega ID, Arcs Cache and Star Gems can be shared across models. You can also switch between models as you please as long as you are not logged in at the same time. Phantasy Star Online 2 is currently available for PC, PlayStation 4, and PS Vita in Japan, and Sega will give us no reason why we are not worthy of Phantasy Star Online 2, despite Phantasy Star Online always being a big and prominent type of game here in the States with Phantasy Star Online. You know, it's just been something that I'm not really sure what's going on. Maybe it's not super huge, but there was a solid fan base for Phantasy Star Online on the Dreamcast originally and even on the GameCube as well. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on here, and I know I've already talked about this before, guys, and I don't want to just complain every single time we hear about Phantasy Star Online 2, but I honestly have no idea what's going on and why Sega does not feel that they can release the game as far as with the West. And I think they also shut down the Western website for the game, so the chances of us getting this seem to be very slim. This is a whole cloud-based version of the game. So yeah, man, I don't know if this is ever going to come over. Now, the cool thing about the Nintendo Switch is that it is region free, so if you want to just go ahead and download the client there and play it, you can definitely do so, but you got to know Japanese or you're going to have to struggle through or get a guide or something like that. And with this type of game with all the different items and customization and everything, it's going to be tough, but there are people who do it out there, so at least we do have that. Spring 2018 is when you're going to be able to do that, and I'm probably just going to download it and mess around with it just because the Nintendo Switch is region free. But overall, I just wish that Sega would localize this game. I think it's a great RPG. I think there's a lot of fans out there that would love to play it, and it would be interesting to have on the Nintendo Switch in terms of a localized version. But that seems less and less like with each year that passes by and Sega just says nope, nope, and nope. So what do you guys think about Phantasy Star Online 2 Cloud launching in spring 2018 in Japan for the Nintendo Switch? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Alright, and moving into the last article here, Square Enix discusses Nintendo Switch's sales success and how they're very happy to see the system sell so well, and how it could get sequels to older IPs, being it the Switch, and their multi-platform approach to the system. So a lot of different stuff here. We're gonna go do some Mythbusters, Nintendo misinformation edition in this, because there's a lot of people who tried to claim certain things when it came to Square Enix support on the Nintendo Switch, and they're jumping the gun like always. So let's go ahead and get right into it here. So Yusuke Matsuda, the president of Square Enix, has spoken a lot about the Nintendo Switch recently. Matsuda recently said that the company is interested in bringing past titles to the system and noted how it's a very attractive and important platform to Square Enix. Matsuda had even more to say about the Nintendo Switch in an interview with The Telegraph. First, when asked how the Nintendo Switch changed Square Enix's looks at developing and designing games, here's what he had to say. Well, he started off with laughs first, then he went on to say, "We announced this in our yearly results as well, but certainly the really great thing for us is to see how well the Nintendo Switch is selling. It's doing incredibly well, which is nothing but a good thing for us. As a publisher and developer of games, we obviously want to get our games onto as many different platforms as possible, and so obviously having a broad range to choose from can only be a good thing for us. So certainly seeing Nintendo's hardware selling so well and doing so well, getting our games on that can only be an advantage for the company. So we're very happy about it. Like I said, it makes our portfolio even more broad and even more bountiful." Later in the interview, Matsuda was asked about balancing existing IPs and new franchises. That led him to eventually again mention how Square Enix wants to revisit its past and then perhaps consider doing some of those kinds of sequels to older IPs on the Nintendo Switch in the future. Here's what he had to say, quote, "Really want to do both of those in equal balance. Obviously, we're going to continue making new games, and for the older IPs as well, not just the remakes/remasters we've been doing. We want to create sequels and new games to those series as well. Certainly the Switch as well, because it has sold so well and is doing very well at the moment. There's a number of previous game IPs that we've got that we didn't make continuations of those series sequels in the past, and I think maybe looking into doing some of those kinds of sequels to older IPs on the Nintendo Switch in the future is something we'd like to look at." Now, in other noteworthy tidbits from Matsuda, he said that the plan going forward is trying to make all of Square Enix's games available on all platforms, including the Nintendo Switch. So let me repeat that for all of these people out there. The goal for Square Enix is to make all of Square Enix's games available on all platforms, which includes the Nintendo Switch. Not just some of the games, not just older IPs, not just old IPs put back on there or sequels to old IPs or only reboots, but all of Square Enix's games going forward to the Nintendo Switch. We had a number of people out there that like to take certain quotes, and pretty much ignore what Square Enix even said before that in order to push a certain thing, which has caused misinformation, which has caused people to come to me and say, oh, well, Square Enix is only looking to do old games on the Switch. That's what they said, which no, they only took a segment of what they said and tried to push that as that's all that they're doing, which is not the case at all. Square Enix, as we've already seen pretty much with the Switch so far, they're going to have the smaller games, they're going to have the reboots, they're going to have the bigger games, Dragon Quest Builders 2, Dragon Quest 11. They're going to have a variety of games that they can do on the platform. It's not just going to be one certain type of game. They're going to do what they can to bring all of their games. If it can be done, they're going to try to do it. And like I said, we've already seen that from a small scale, from a mid-size scale, and from a big scale. Like I said, like mid-size would be like Dragon Quest Builders. Mid-size to small scale, then you have stuff like Lost Sphere, I Am Setsuna. You have reboots like the Secret of Mana Collection, or like just basically re-releasing of an IP. And then you also have really big titles like Dragon Quest 11. They've already done that, yet people try to push it into one thing or another, which is ridiculous. Square Enix is obviously going to support the Nintendo Switch. They're going to do what they can. We're seeing much better support for the Nintendo Switch starting out than we even saw with the Nintendo 3DS and definitely with the Wii U. So that's something that I just want to let you guys know. I've had people come to me on Twitter saying, oh, well, Square Enix is slipping up at this point, which I guess can be some concerns, maybe a little bit. I mean, I did my own video talk about that, but that was back with the whole Final Fantasy 15 Pocket Edition malarkey that was going on. So now that that's done with, you know, and Square Enix has came out and said multiple different statements, I don't really think that there's any issues going on here. On top of that, like I said, we have Dragon Quest Builders 2, we have Dragon Quest Builders that just recently got an announced date for Japan, March 1st, and on top of that, there's going to be more. They're obviously supporting the system. There's going to be different games announced. We have stuff like Project Octopath that's also coming to Nintendo Switch, which is going to be an amazing title. Like, I consider that more to mid-size to big title, somewhere in that range. For me personally, in terms of just gameplay, it's a big title. So for me, I'm excited about the support that Square Enix is giving us. Project Octopath, Dragon Quest Builders, and Dragon Quest 11. That's already way better than anything they've given us for the most part in the last like few years when it comes to Nintendo support, even with the 3DS too. So what do you guys think about what Square Enix had to say on the matter? I would love to hear you guys' thoughts in the comment section below. All right, Ninja, that wraps it up for this video here. Go ahead and check out the links in the description below. We've got Facebook, we've got Twitter. Go ahead and give us a like and a follow on our social media. Really helps us spread the content of player assets across the interwebs in addition to YouTube. Also, make sure you check out our Patreon and YouTube Live Gaming page and consider supporting Player Essence. When you do so, it gets you access to all sorts of cool benefits, perks, rewards, and emotes via YouTube sponsorship. So check out the link in the description below and consider supporting Player Essence right here on YouTube. Hit that like button if you did like this video. Lets me know you guys want more content like this going forward in the future. And subscribe to Player Essence for the latest RPG, Japanese, and Nintendo gaming news. Thank you so much for watching. I will catch you for the next video. Peace.